So my previous video on how I got the fastest residency in the world in 45 minutes. This is one of the most powerful residencies, and the passport that you get is the strongest. Now this video exploded, and the same video also covered one of the most useful lifelong permanent residencies in the world without even visiting, setting foot in the country. If you've missed that one, it's a super important video. It also has two other paper residencies that are a must-have for any portfolio, and most of them don't require any investment and you qualify for them. But this video is going to be about Europe. It's going to be about EU. What is the best golden visa that you should consider starting 2026? I'm going to give you the best EU golden visa, and all that you're going to pay is 10,000 euros to the government, to the state, and that's it. No other money that you're paying to the government. Of course, you're going to hire an attorney. That's important because you want to file this correctly. And I'm going to compare this cheapest EU residency to alternatives like Portugal, Greece, and Italy, and why this one hands down wins as the best golden visa. There are 3 to 4 major advantages of this EU golden visa, why this really stands out. But before we deep dive in any of this, if you genuinely feel that the channel adds any value to your life, helps you make decisions, then please do me a favor, check your subscription status, and if you haven't yet subscribed, then turn that on. It truly benefits the channel and it helps me get you breaking news on time. The first major advantage of this EU residency is that it requires no visa. Yes, if you have a passport that has visa-free access to the Schengen area, you can enter visa-free, and once you're inside the country, this residency permit can be acquired. After that, it's a paper residency. Of course, it's a golden visa. The term golden visa is just a different way of saying it's a paper residency. The government charges you a premium in Europe to give you a paper residency. Some of the other ones that I've discussed in that previous video don't charge you that premium. That's why it's a no-brainer to grab them. They aren't aware yet. The moment they come to know that, hey, we are giving our residencies away, they're going to act like Panama. They're all going to put a premium of 300, 400, 500K, and then it would price out a lot of people. And if you have the money, why do you want to spend the money when you are getting those anyway? So 2026, if you're looking for this EU permit or any of those 4 residencies and you want to add those to your portfolio, you can always click the link, book a call. We can hook you up on a package to get you all the residencies with a similar set of documentation. So on one trip, you can combine and knock 4 to 5 different residency permits. It's going to be a lot cheaper to get these together instead of scrambling later on and trying to get it at different points in time, because those documents expire, prices go up, and processes become more strict. Now, let's come back to this one. So the first advantage is that no visa required on your passport. If you have the access, grab this. And this is particularly very important because a lot of those Caribbean passports that they have sold aren't working in some of the EU nations, particularly Norway is kicking out people who hold some of those passports, and it has gone to the extent of confiscating the Dominica passport from a couple of candidates and threw them out, or let's say deported those candidates back to your home country. Once you get expelled, removed, deported, you don't know if you're ever going to be in Europe again, if you're ever going to be able to go back to the EU. So before any of that craziness happens to you, this is the time to acquire a EU golden visa. So you're not just relying on your passport, you have a residency permit, a paper residency, legally and properly obtained. It's going to seal the deal for you as far as the Schengen area is concerned. A lot of my clients are closely eyeing the Malta merit-based citizenship. Now, EU has cracked down on the CVI program, but Malta is fighting it back. I like their spirit. There's going to be a panel of different reviewers who are going to make that recommendation. So the first hurdle is that panel. Once it passes, then it gets recommended to the minister, and that's where the merit needs to be shown. And a lot of you guys watching have some form of merit in your background. So it's very important to work on merit-based citizenships, and that's what we are currently working on. Again, it's trial and error phase, it's R&D phase. We are only trying this with limited candidates. And if you are subscribed, I promise you, any updates, any new information, this channel would be the first one to share it with you. So make sure you're subscribed. So while you're working on any of the merit-based EU citizenships, this residency is going to be that stopgap, that bridge. So let's say you have a Grenada passport. Grenada, in my opinion, is still the best one as compared to any of the other Caribbean passports. And let's say you add the EU golden visa. Now you have a bulletproof mechanism in place. You're no longer relying on what the IATAS is going to direct, right? You have your Schengen permit. You can freely, easily travel across the EU region, and you're getting in at the lowest possible price point. This is the second advantage. It's easy on the pocket. It's not going to tax you crazy. It's not 500k euros like Portugal. It's not 800k euros like Greece, and it's not 2 million in bonds like Italy, or there's 250k in a startup venture. Again, not a lot of people would understand what that is or even get any luck from that. So this one is 10,000 euros a fee. There's a small investment component which I'm going to discuss. So the price is the lowest. And by the way, the country that I'm discussing so far is the country of Latvia. It's an EU member, it's an EU country, and it is the cheapest paper residency possible. Now, let me explain how the investment component works, right? So the total amount, the total outlay is 60k euros, out of which 50,000 euros needs to be in a company. Now, it does not matter which company. It could be your own company. So let's say you want to start a business anyways in the EU. You can form a Latvia-based local company, but then you have to remit taxes. You need to pay at least 40k euros of taxes to the government. So that's a constraint if you are starting your own company and putting in the 50k in your own company. So yes, you secure the 50k with yourself. You are in possession of your own 50k, but then you're paying taxes. This only makes sense if you're legitimately or genuinely trying to establish a EU company. But for most of you watching, you're better off investing the 50k with an existing company, and we have a selection of 5 to 6 good companies, stable companies with proper agreements in place. So when you're dealing with the attorney, and we have a specialized team in Latvia which takes care of this whole process. So when you're dealing with your legal representative, apart from obviously working on the immigration aspect of things, you're also going to review the agreement with the company that you're depositing the 50k with, because at the end of the day, you're going to get back this money, right? So when you don't need this golden visa, you're going to recoup that investment. So let's say after 5 years, you want to get your money back. So there's going to be an agreement in place. And if you want to earn some income, right, you want to cover or offset the 10k fees that you have paid, then there's a way to earn that back, which is by locking in the capital for 5 years. You get approximately a 2% interest, which will recoup some of the costs that you're putting together for this golden visa. So 50k is the amount that you get back, is the investment component, and 10,000 euros is what you pay to the state, to the government. That's a one-time cost, so you don't have to keep paying this again and again. This is only once, and then you get locked into the best, the cheapest, the fastest EU residency. This is a low-hanging fruit, and this is the easiest and the fastest and a backdoor entry into the EU. The other golden visas get marketed more because there's a hefty commission, right? So if something is 500k, of course, a lot of those companies targeting millionaires are going to sell that first. They're not going to sit and sell Latvia for 10k when they can sell a Portugal for 500k or a Italy for 2 million and stuff like that. So this is really good. Now, let's do a quick comparison with how this compares with Portugal. Now, Portugal changed the requirements from 5 years to 10 years. So let's say a couple of years to get the golden visa, then you wait for 10 years, and then you apply for citizenship. It takes another couple of years to get the citizenship. So you're looking at a solid 14 to 15-year commitment with Portugal. A lot of people at this point aren't going to do the Portugal option for citizenship, because after 15 years, do you really care about that citizenship? You want to have a merit-based citizenship in the EU before that. Of course, a lot of people, a lot of high net worth clients, and especially millionaires and even billionaires would want to have a EU citizenship if they don't have it already. And merit is right now the fastest way to get it. Avoid any any kind of Slovenian and Slovakian or Romanian programs, a lot of those are frauds. And if you're trying to establish a descent or through ancestry, when you know that you don't qualify there, getting that passport will create a lot of headaches for you. So refrain from any of those 20K, 30K, 50K, 60K programs. It's not worth the time and effort. It will haunt and backfire big time. So when you compare this with Portugal, why do you get Portugal? You get Portugal because it's a golden visa. There's only 7 days of physical presence, but Latvia has 0 days of physical presence. So of course it beats Portugal on the price. It beats Portugal on the residency requirement. So this is clearly better than Portugal. The second one is the Greece golden visa. Now, if you buy any reasonable real estate that qualifies, or anywhere in Greece, any sensible real estate, you're looking at the 800K euros of investment. If you're trying to rehabilitate a property, then you're looking at 250K, but those are bad areas. So it's a very bad combination, bad area, and then you're rehabilitating a property. So let's say you're spending another 200, 300K. The property is going to be 500K euros. And guess what? No one's buying that. You're losing all your money. Does not make any sense. How does Greece compare to Portugal? Well, if you compare them head on, then I would say Portugal is better than Greece, because at the same price point, you're getting the entire money back with Portugal. With Greece, it's going to be very difficult to sell that real estate at that price after doing all the constructions. The prices have gone up for labor and for construction, and good luck trying to find people in Greece to fix your property. So I think Portugal is better than Greece, and therefore, of course, Latvia is far better than Greece. The third one on the list is Italy, 250K in startup, and then you don't know if that's going to really work out or the authorities are going to accept that startup investment. So that really is not an option. The only realistic option in Italy is the 2 million in government bonds that you can recoup back. A lot of people aren't interested in putting $2 million in Italy, so that does not make sense. How does this compare to Latvia? Hands down, Latvia wins. Now, at any point in time, you want to strike Latvia and quickly add this to your portfolio, as I said, you can always reach us and we can get you started. And before you go, as I said, very important, if you haven't seen that video that I'm referencing, right, the remote, 100% remote online lifetime permanent residency, which has other very powerful options, hop on this one. Catch you in this one.